And blessed to be a part of your day from St. Ignatius School in Meridian, Idaho. Kevin Miller in the morning here. We're joined by Troy Parton, who's a teacher and member of the leadership team. Troy, thank you for having us here.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. Good morning. How are you?
I am very happy to be here as someone who's a member of Holy Apostles, Catholic parish here in Meridian, Idaho. Have been a big fan of St. Ignatius. The concept of this is a new school. You guys haven't even been here a year. And yet you have so many people coming in. Can you tell us the St. Ignatius story, please?
Sure. So, it was quite a few years ago. I know with the parish, they were really looking to want to get a school put together. So, they started asking for many pledges, and with the community, everybody was able to come together to create a wonderful opportunity to build this school for bringing in all of the children to continue with the faith-based education.
Well, that's easier said than done, though, when you're talking about building a school, I would imagine. You know, the fundraising, the cost, the design, that took a lot of work.
Yeah, there were many people involved, lots of different committees and things put together, with many, many hours put together to come up with plans and ideas to make this a reality. And
yet it happened. What about the concept versus the reality? We always think, and we can all relate to this, well, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but this concept has worked out. What do you attribute the success to it? Is it because of the area is growing so much? People are into education. People are looking for, an alternative to other schools. What do you think when you talk to parents? Why St. Ignatius?
I think a lot of what I hear from parents is really the faith-based is what really brings them here and wants to keep them here. The education and the academic piece is sometimes secondary, I think. So that's a big value that I think brought lots of people here.
Sure. Now, when you're talking about St. Ignatius, obviously it's a Catholic school. Does that mean that only Catholics go here?
No. There are other students here that are also not Catholic as well.
Okay, like our friends Bishop Kelly and other schools across the area and such. How does that work as far as, a diversity of faith?
As when students come here, we still go through the idea that they are going through the Catholic faith based curriculum and things. So even though they're not, we still are asking them to go through those portions and those part or attend Mass with us as well. So
right, and I'm sure that leads to a lot of discussion, which is great. What's it like though with these young minds? Usually we go to high schools. We'll go to a couple middle schools. Sometimes K through 12, but molding the young minds is elementary through middle school. Is that type of education different than, let's say, the high school?
Are you talking from with faith-based?
Or just to anything?
I don't know. I haven't had a tremendous experience in the high school, especially with the private schools, but I think the excitement that comes from the younger kids is wonderful.
Right. They're happy to be here.
Yes. They're very excited to be here, very excited to learn the new things and share the things that they have as well.
One of the many things that I was amazed, and by the way, we're here talking about all schools, but we're at St. Ignatius School here in Meridian Catholic School, is that you had so many 8th graders that don't only be here a year, but they were so committed to the vision. And we all remember being in middle school or junior high where, you wanted to be in that same place, but to uproot and come in just for a year, that says a lot about them.
Yeah, it does. I think it really puts in and shows them their belief in what has been created and put forward here, to really come and try really just 1 year, and then they're off right to another new journey for themselves.
Right, that first year here at St. Ignatius, how has it gone?
I think it's been wonderful. It's been a great year. Definitely lots of learning opportunities and lots of firsts.
Sure.
I mean, everything's a first, so lots of things to go through and things that worked well and things that are, will continue to change and continue to get better. So, but overall, I think it's been a really great year.
How do you balance when we're, and Troy, thank you for keeping me on point here. How do you balance, faith and education, faith-based education? How does that work?
I think for us, it's really just, as you build it into with our mission, that really it's looking at seeing God in all things. So going forward and just being out there in the community and taking part in everything you possibly can and giving your gifts and your things to everybody else as well.
Sure. Sure. Now let's talk a little bit about the future of this area. It is growing immensely. Do most of the people come from this area, or do you have people in Boise and Nampa? How does that work?
There's a mix. There's from families all around. I mean, many of the families around the general area, but definitely families are intermixed throughout the Treasure Valley.
Yeah, that is amazing when you consider that this school is less than a year old. Anything else that you would like to say to people that are always trying to figure out the key to education? You've committed your life to being an educator, a faith-based educator. What's the magic involved in the learning process? Is there a secret sauce?
No, I think
it's so easy to ask the questions.
I think in education, in any general education, really the magic comes from the students. It's really their love and their passion that drive. That's what keeps me coming back year to year for the educational aspects.
Sure. Anything else that you'd like to share with us today?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys getting up early and having us here, and we so want everybody to know about St. Ignatius here in the Treasure Valley. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning here as we move along. Big news last night. If you missed it, here's our own Jill Nato talking about, well, some people coming home thanks to President Trump.
In the middle of the night, the plane carrying Kim Dong-chul, Tony Kim, and Kim Hek-sung touching down at Andrews Air Force Base in Maryland. They stepped off smiling and making peace signs as they were greeted by President Trump.
I'm very honored to help the three folks.
The three taken to Walter Reed Medical Center in case they have any health issues after their imprisonment. Their release apparently a goodwill gesture by North Korea's Kim Jong-un in advance of a summit coming up with President Trump. The Trump administration hoping that summit may work towards denuclearizing the Korean peninsula. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
And thank you, Jill. Kevin Miller in the morning here at St. Ignatius School in Meridian, Idaho. We do want to remind everybody that Promote Our School, Secure Our Future, brought to you by CapEd Credit Union, Team Mazda Subaru, and Grade Power Learning in Meridian. And speaking of learning, it is Thank You Thursday. Do want to remind you, I'm reminding you a lot. The 6 o'clock hour is usually, George and Ray and I will know this, is usually the most challenging hour. I'm reminding you, really I'm reminding myself, but today is Thank You Thursday, and we have some tickets to the big event of the year. And you know what I'm talking about, Boise Music Festival tickets. I'm talking Robin Thicke, Granger Smith, Baby Bash, Echo Smith, Parmalee, Matt Carney, all can be yours by listening. Caller 6 when I give you the cue to call at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're going to win a family 4-pack. I picked them out just for you and your family or your friends. Caller 6 can be yours when you hear the cue to call. By the way, big news last night, as you heard, the North Korean prisoners coming home. That is amazing. We'll talk a little bit about that. But more importantly, I'd like to talk to you about, I guess it's down to hand right now. And you know what I'm talking about with this primary. Can you believe it, friends? It is Thursday. Primary is amongst us. We're less than, 6 days away, 5 days away. I need to have our friends at Grade Power Learning give me a little tutoring lesson in math. However, May 15th, this endless campaign that started with Dr. Ahlquist, started with Lieutenant Governor Brad Little, that started with Congressman Labrador, is just about coming to an end. And I was talking to a young man yesterday, and he was kind of chewing my ear off in the hallway, a young man by the name of Gary. And Gary supports Michael Snyder. He's the Ada County coordinator for Michael Snyder. And Gary was just going over the state of the race and not only what it takes, and most of us in the media, we profile the candidates, right? But I'm talking about the supporters. This program, we have newsmakers on, but it's more about the contributors. It's more about people that, have a take or make a difference in our community. And it's nice to see that we have other media outlets, like the television stations, following the cue of you by profiling people within our community that this show has been doing for almost 9 years. But my point is with Gary, And I said to Gary, you really need to call in and tell your story, but I'll tell his story right now. Gary commits his own time, his own efforts, his own energy, his own money because he believes so passionately in his political candidate. And isn't that what the Republic, and I don't want to say democracy because we'll have people calling in yelling at me saying this is not a democracy, this is not a democracy. I get that. But isn't that what our political process is supposed to be about? And there are too few people like Gary's or the great contributor Tea Party Bob or Terry from State College, Pennsylvania, or Tom Munns that comes in and out when he's not on sabbatical or doing his work for the wonderful organizations that he works for. And for most of us, because we've been so turned off by the geopolitical world, we're like, we get turned off by it. And we're seeing that right now with, again, the artillery is just about done. Everybody's almost out of ammunition, and now it's hand-to-hand. And we have the negative ads. We have people having press releases about this saying, hey, quit distorting my record. You have people saying that the out-of-towners are coming in, purchasing this election. And I'm thinking to myself, and this is why we partnered with the Republican Party and Terry's Cafe. A week from today, we will be at Terry's Cafe with George. You'll be there, George? All right, George. And Ray and Maya back at the Mother Station, calling people to come together. And I'm going to share with you a story on why that's important. But at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, we have the state of the race where we have everybody attacking, counterattacking, and such. And I know that's how the game is played, but shouldn't we be focusing in on the issues? Water. And by the way, that was such a great comment the other day by a gentleman. Water, lands, education. Those are the things that are going to impact our life, right? So I'd love to get your thoughts on this at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, when we're talking about these big issues. And if you want to set the record straight, if you would like to do something else, that's great. But there's a lot of fire and smoke going back and forth between these candidates. And unfortunately, I don't want it to turn people off. And from what I understand, it's funny, I've gotten conflicting reports that absentee voting has been up, it's been down. So we'll talk a little bit about that, plus what's going on in Korea, plus this situation about, concerning this E. coli situation. We'd love to get your thoughts on that as well. You're listening to Kevin Miller from St. Ignatius School in Meridian on KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be a part of your day, Kevin Miller in the morning here from St. Ignatius School in Meridian, brought to you by Grade Power Learning and CapEd Credit Union and Team Mazda Subaru. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Last night, the prisoners were released from North Korea. It was a very, very good night for the President of the United States, for those folks as well. And here's what the President had to say in welcoming those folks home.
I really think he wants to do something and bring that country into the real world. I really believe that.
And he does. We continue.
We're starting off on a new footing. This is a wonderful thing that he released the folks early. That was a big thing, very important to me. And I really think we have a very good chance of doing something very meaningful. And if anybody would have said that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even a year ago, you would have said that's not possible.
And there we have it. Phone numbers 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Let's go to the phones. Gary, your ears must have been burning. We were just talking about you at KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, Kevin. Yes, I was surprised. It was, thank you very much. I've spoken with you about Michael Snyder. Michael is a great man, and I believe that. And I think there's a lot of your listeners that know Michael and believe in him. I came across Michael, my wife and I did, and saw his flyer and saw that he was a pro-Trump and his agenda, which we are. We're pro-Trump, and we love Trump. And we love Michael for what he's doing, what he's trying to do for us in this state and our country. A lot of other politicians are saying that, of course, and they really don't have their heart in it, but it's good campaign material. But, we asked Michael, how can we help him? And my wife and I have, and there's other volunteers, and we're all helping. Everyone has these big amounts of money in their campaign. Michael doesn't. It's all volunteers who are putting money into that. We're knocking on doors. We're putting we buy books of stamps when the campaign funds might be low, and we're all out there helping and working very hard, talking to people. And I'm finding in most cases there's people who feel the same way as I'm talking to them about what's going on in our country and our state, and these people are pro-Trump and they're pro-America, and they want to see Michael win. They said we need someone like that, and we're all seem to be tired of the same old politicians who constantly, feel that we owe them something, or that maybe,
Sure, but you're giving your own money, right?
Yes,
your own time. And I don't mean to interrupt, Gary, but let me just set the tone for people here at KIDO Talk Radio. You're so moved by being involved in the process. You and your wife, you're retired. You could be doing other things, but you're so motivated by Mr. Snyder that you're volunteering. You're giving it all, which is really what a lot of us should be doing. Why?
Because it was like one of your callers said yesterday. He was very critical of Michael. He said he's not a politician. He's not seasoned. Well, you know what? That's what I want. That's what people are telling me. That's why people voted for Trump. They're tired of the politicians. They're tired of these people who constantly are saying that we're better because we're politicians and we know how to do it. Well, they don't know how to do it. And when they've proved that. But yet these same people, like are running right now in the campaign, are saying, oh, yeah, just give me one more chance. Yes, I can do it. I know how to do it. I'm a seasoned politician. I don't want that. That's not why I am behind Michael. I mean, I have strong faith, and Michael has this strong faith, and he's passionate about this campaign and his life and his family and his country. And I think what's happened along the way is there are politicians who they've lost their way. They've sold their souls. They don't have any moral values any longer. I don't know what's happened to these people, but they tend to continue to believe that they are just the right people to do the job, and yet they're not doing the job. And we all could see that and what's going on in Washington. And Michael wants to go there and fight the fight for President Trump and to be his friend, as he has said, and do what's right. And I believe in Michael very much. I mean, we're buying airtime to help Michael because we're not a big club for growth. We're not big money. We're all people who are just giving what money we all can. And I don't think any one of us can afford the money that we're all putting together to help this campaign and to help the people of the state realize that Michael is needed. And I think Michael will be a wonderful congressman for this state.
Right, you're putting on the line, Gary.
I love this man very much.
All right, Gary, thank you very much for the call. Traffic and weather together. And we continue on taking your calls at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. But we just want to remember that we could be in dangerous territory here where it is folks going at people all the time, and we might be undermining the process. Remember, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, and I know emotions are very high right now, that we've got to stay the course, and we'll talk about that coming up. And I know it's easier said than done, and that's why we do want to remind you we're going to be at Terry's Cafe in Meridian a week from today, bringing people together. And why don't we do this? Caller 6 right now at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. You're going to win a family 4-pack to the Boise Music Festival. You're listening to Kevin Miller from St. Ignatius Catholic School in Meridian on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie.
Good.
And coming up, we'll take a look at the world of negative advertising. Of course, if you go to KIDOTalkRadio.com, and who wouldn't go to KIDOTalkRadio.com or the award-winning app that allows you to take the radio station wherever you go, you'd find a story that I wrote, what you need to do to win your election, regardless of where you're at. And I don't really want to spoil that for you, but it is relevant. You just probably heard that ad about Congressman Labrador. Pretty tough when we're taking a look at this. But remember, the primary is Tuesday. We will be having our coverage with the contenders as we have throughout this primary season, which has been over a year. We'll be at the Riverside Hotel beginning at 8 o'clock, broadcasting live. Looking forward to that. We'll count it down. We'll declare the winners and the not-so-winners, and we're definitely looking forward to that night. Do want to let you know that we are at St. Ignatius Catholic School in Meridian, Idaho, promoting our schools, securing our future, brought to you by CapEd Credit Union, Team Mazda Subaru, and Grade Power Learning in Meridian. We go live to Capitol Hill. Joining us now, Rachel Sutherland with a big hearing yesterday concerning who will and who possibly won't be leading the CIA. Rachel, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Gina Haspel went before the Senate Intelligence Committee, and as expected, it was a fairly contentious hearing. There are quite a few protesters hauled out, upset over her role in the rendition and interrogation programs post 9/11. But she told lawmakers that really the CIA has learned a lot of lessons since that time, and that if she were asked to do anything like that again, like waterboarding or something like that, then that she would not do it, even if it were deemed legal at the time.
Right. It shows you how much the world has changed, and I guess this is from classified or declassified documents that have circulated in the public?
Yes, there's been some that's been declassified and others that haven't. And so there's been a lot of frustration among lawmakers that some has not been declassified. But her role in overseeing a black site in Thailand called Cat's Eye, some of that has been released. We know that there were some videos that were taken of torture, or if you want to call it that, or enhanced techniques that were going on. Apparently, it was one suspect of 93 videos of what has gone on there. They were all destroyed, and so people were asking, well, why did you destroy those or allow for it? And she said that really their existence would put CIA officers in danger. So especially Al-Qaeda at the time would be inflamed by that kind of thing. So you see definitely Haspel defending a lot of decisions that were made, but at the same time saying that she would not repeat them.
Here's another one that's interesting, Rachel, and you alluded to this, that she says they'll never use torture again. Am I getting my facts correct on that one?
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. She said that even if it were deemed legal, she wouldn't do it again. She was saying that her strong moral compass would prevent her from ever allowing the CIA to do that again. Now, I don't know that everyone was buying it, and really, Kevin, it'll come down to votes, and we know that Republican Senator Rand Paul says he's out. Senator John McCain can't vote because he's too sick, but he issued a statement saying that he hopes that the Senate does not confirm her. But there are some Democrats who may be coming on board. Joe Manchin has signaled he'll vote yes on Haspel. There's Senator Mark Warner of Virginia saying that he thinks she ought to be confirmed, but he's not entirely sure. So you have a situation where Republicans need Democrat votes again because this is a simple majority vote, and they may get them. So, yeah, I'm not really a betting lady, but I would say that if she'll probably be confirmed, but it'll be by a thin margin.
Joe Manchin, I can understand because he's up for re-elect, but Senator Warner, that would be big.
It really would. Senator Warner was more, I don't want to say reasonable than I would have thought. He called her a patriot. He said he understood the role that she was in, but at the same time, he can't just sweep away a dark period of American history. It could be that ultimately he votes no, but he at least seems open to the idea of it. And they only need 2 or 3 Democrats to come on over. So again, it may be possible. It's just really a toss-up at this point.
Finally, Rachel, the state of Senator McCain, everybody's hoping and praying that he can make a recovery. What's the mood like about him on Capitol Hill?
You know, as far as I know, I don't know that people are thinking he's going to be coming back to the Senate. He's had a lot of visitors at his home in Arizona, former Vice President Joe Biden being among the visitors there. I don't have any kind of inside scoop on his actual state of health today, but if he's well enough to issue a statement, that's being well enough to do that. But I think people understand, he's dealing with a very, very serious illness with brain cancer and being gravely ill. And he seems to be enjoying peaceful time at his home in Arizona. Really just his friends, his family, people coming in to say what they want to say.
Rachel Sutherland, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. KIDO Talk Radio is your home for Fox News on the radio, exclusively here in the Treasure Valley. And by the way, don't forget, coming up this hour, your chance to win a family 4-pack to the Boise Music Festival. When I give you the cue to call, be caller 6 at 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Remember, that's at Expo, Idaho, June 23rd from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Joining us now is Chris Martino, an 8th grader here at St. Ignatius Catholic School in Meridian, Idaho. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I am, always better at 9 in the morning than at 5, but thank you for asking. You're an 8th grader here. This will be your first and last year here at St. Ignatius. What caused you to come here and to try out this school?
Well, I know next year I'm going to be going to Bishop Kelly High School, and I just wanted to be able to work my way into that environment because I know a lot of kids here will be going to Bishop Kelly next year as well.
Yeah, we've heard of that place called Bishop Kelly. Yeah, it's a fairly pretty good school. Tell us a little bit about your life here. Was it tough coming here for only 1 year, sir?
It wasn't really because a lot of people were coming from different schools, so there wasn't any one group of kids coming from one school, so everyone was in the same position as me.
Sure. So what was it like to come to a brand new school? Most schools are, they've been worn in, not this one.
Yeah, one thing I like about it is that everything's new. There's a really modern, we have chairs and stuff out in the hallways. A lot of schools don't have that, so it's just kind of cool.
Sure. Your parents and your teachers always tell you how important school is and learning and such. What about you? How do you feel about learning? I mean, that might be a tough question, but you seem like you're squared away and ready to go. So, learning, do you like it?
Yeah, I like it. It's just learning,
Sure.
school.
And your favorite topics. We were talking that you're an editor, you're writing. Tell us a little bit about that. Share with that.
Yeah, I'm the editor of the school newspaper. There's actually a newspaper elective here at St. Ignatius. So I stepped up and I became the editor of the newspaper, and each month we put out an edition. And my job is to basically go through, make sure everything looks okay, and then I assemble the newspaper.
Boy, that's quite a lot of responsibility. Most adults haven't figured out grammar or layouts or any of that. What caused you to do that? Why'd you think, hey, I wanted to be the editor?
Well, it just kind of evolved that way. My teacher thought it would be a good fit for me, so
Sure.
it's just how it ended up.
So what about the news of the school? We hear a lot about the news. What do you guys cover? What are the big issues here?
Mostly we've been covering, our newspaper goes out all the way down to 3rd grade, so we don't want to make it too sophisticated. So we do some fun stuff. We also do, a few months ago, there was that big cold storm that hit the eastern United States. We covered that. We covered the hurricanes last year.
It's kind of like this morning show. We have, some 3rd graders that listen, so we try to make it not very sophisticated either. So you're wrapping up the school year. What's that like? How will you remember your time here at St. Ignatius Catholic School in Meridian?
Well, we're actually made a yearbook this year as well, and I helped a little bit with that. So it'll be a good way to remember everything that's happened this year.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Now, when you look at next year in high school, what are your thoughts about high school? Because you're running this place now. Next year, you're going to be a freshman.
Yeah, I'm excited for high school. It's going to be a completely different experience than middle school was.
Right. Anything that in particular that you're excited about?
Well, I'm kind of excited for the sports, actually. I didn't do sports this year with the new school and everything. I did them at my old school, but it's going to be a little bit different in high school. The seasons are longer and more people do it. So.
Sure. Any sport in particular?
I do cross country and wrestling.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wrestling's pretty tough, I'd say. That's what I hear. That's what they tell me. Chris Martino, anything else that you'd like to share with us here at KIDO Talk Radio? Maybe your favorite topic, maybe some advice to parents. This is your time. You got a lot of parents and grandparents listening. You like to impart any advice to them about, school or learning or any activities?
Well, one thing that's cool about the school is there's a lot of interaction between the upper grades and the lower grades, because our school is a K through 8 school. You might not get that at other schools. For example, the 8th grade is going on a field trip to the Boise Zoo with the 1st grade coming up next week.
Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I am. We have buddies with the 1st grade every Friday, so it'll be a fun experience.
That must be nice that that you guys are their mentors and they look up to the big students in school, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool because I've never been in a K through 8 school, so it's interesting.
It is. As are you, sir. We'll be covering your adventures for quite some time. Anything else you'd like to share with the listening audience?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, this was your first radio interview, correct?
Yes.
I'm sure you'll be doing many more, so thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Kevin Miller in the morning here at KIDO Talk Radio.
Our goal in conducting this hearing is to enable the committee to begin consideration of Ms. Haspel's qualifications and to allow for thoughtful deliberation by all members. She's already provided substantive written responses to more than 100 questions presented by the committee and its members.
If I am confirmed as director, you have my solemn commitment that I will position this agency to provide the intelligence support our country needs to meet the challenges of today and those of tomorrow.
I believe your intellectual rigor, your honorable service, and outstanding judgment make you a natural fit to lead the CIA.
You are a torturer! Under my leadership, on my watch, CIA will not restart a detention and interrogation program.
And there we have it, your thoughts on the CIA director, if confirmed, saying no more torture. It's funny, it's enhanced interrogation when it happens to somebody else. It's torture when it happens to us. Words to live by. Speaking of which, why don't we do this? A family 4-pack will be yours. Caller 6 right now at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, courtesy of Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And blessed to be a part of your day, Kevin Miller in the morning at St. Ignatius Catholic School in Meridian, promoting our schools, securing our future thanks to our wonderful partners, CapEd Credit Union, Team Mazda Subaru, Grade Power Learning in Meridian. Congratulations to Donna. She won our family 4-pack to see Robin Thicke, Granger Smith, Baby Bash, Matt Carney, Echo Smith, and Parma Lee. That's Saturday, June 23rd. We like to call it the Boise Music Festival at Expo, Idaho. Listen for your chance to win throughout the morning with me, Kevin Miller, on KIDO Talk Radio. Phone numbers here, 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Taking a look at, the political season. You've got a lot of hard-hitting ads going back and forth, charges and countercharges for people running for office, and you wonder whether or not this is good for the political process. How many times have we heard from people saying, oh, I can't wait for the primary season to be over. I'm tired of the ads. I'm tired of the obnoxious fighting over lawn signs. And think about it. Those signs aren't cheap. They're not cheap. You think about all the printing that goes on in this cottage industry. The founding fathers, since we're at St. Ignatius School, we'll do a little history lesson. The founding fathers designed our republic to be participatory, which means you have to be involved. And we have folks that are passionate about their hobbies. They're passionate about their sports. Some, like myself and George, we're passionate about our dogs. And that's a wonderful thing. But on the other hand, these folks that are participating in the primary and the general election, they're in the process. And unfortunately, when you have the negativity going on, that turns a lot of people off. But I wish that we had this attention. I wish we had more attention all year long. Our republic would be a better place for it. And it comes down to this, why we're seeing this barrage of negativity right now. Well, there's an old trick in politics, and I'll share it with you in a minute. But first, traffic and weather together and Kevin Miller in the morning here. Quickly to Hank in Boise on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Hank.
Oh, okay. The second to last ad, which portrays the Labrador as a non-Trump supporter. That clip was taken out of context, and it was taken before the Republican nomination. A lot of us supported other candidates other than Trump. The problem was after the election when we should have all united behind Trump, and Bradley wasn't there. Like I said, they supported liberals like Mr. Crispy over there. They didn't even support conservatives. Both, I think, Butchie Baby and Brad. And then when he came on the Hollywood stuff, they were like little cockroaches with the light turned on. They scrambled for their little cracks in the wall, both Brad and Butchie Baby. And I might point out another little thing before I get off the air. Labrador was one of the few congressmen that came in and campaigned with Trump in various states. He campaigned with his son down in Utah. And I don't see anybody in the Idaho delegation or anybody. I think Vicki Risch is ashamed of herself for that ad. That stunk. It was unfair, and it was dirty. And it was a last-minute smear.
Well, Hank, thank you for the call.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, bye-bye. Much more of your phone calls next. About the campaign as we continue on, don't forget, a week from today, we'll be at Terry's Cafe in Meridian, bringing people together, right? We'll be singing songs and having some wonderful hash browns. I don't know about that. But we will be bringing folks together, Terry's Cafe in Meridian. But today we're at St. Ignatius School in Meridian. We'd love for you to join us. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning.